So we're all getting together because we have been running some workshops over a period of few months, and we've done them in different formats. And today we are all together to kind of take a little bit of a summary of what we have learned over these workshops and how we've seen people react to them. And probably this is going to be pretty useful even for the people who are watching, listening, whatever. So we've also taken a lot of feedback from our participants. We have given each other feedback on how we've run these workshops. We've noticed a huge amount of growth in ourselves as we've done these workshops. No workshop is ever the same, as we've seen. Not only have we shifted the formats, but we've grown amongst ourselves. So, what is something that we have noticed in general? We've noticed that this information that we are sharing is nothing new as such under the sun. If you just go back to the sacred scriptures, to the traditions of the different countries, all this knowledge is actually available to us. But then what happens when this knowledge is available so freely, and yet we have people stuck where they're stuck? Having this conversation, I think Uni had just spoken about what she seems to find in her country regarding this. What do you say, Uni?
Yeah. Um, I think this is something that I personally really want to work on in order to help my people, especially my country in Indonesia. Let's start from ourselves before we actually telling people what to do. I think also in general that as based on my experience, including that I have the experience as a mom, to tell my daughter to do this if she doesn't want to do it, why should I force her? This is something that I see around me, that we expect people to be the people we wanted, which I believe, let's say that working in the personal development journey is something that I realize many things, especially that we all, as human beings living in this world, we allow to be everything we wanted. So I have no right to tell anyone to do things. It's freedom for them. And something that I also notice here is many out there that don't know what is actually their potential, because we have a lot of limiting beliefs. So it is something that really blocking us to reach the higher themselves into the potential that they have, because being told from many different things, many situation, and etc., and it's really blocking them. And also, of course, it's if yeah, I mean, I'm not the smartest person in the world, and even though I have something, I know something, it doesn't mean that I know everything. And this is that what I actually notice around. So just let them free.
Beautiful. Thank you, Uni, for sharing. Priya, what has been your sensation about this personal development journey as you've been going along? And again, we spoke about the fact that everybody knows this stuff, at least with words, they know it.
Yeah, I completely agree with what Uni just shared about how we can hope, we can share, we can express whatever that we know which resonates with us, but whether somebody actually takes on board what we share is completely out of our control. So there are people who claim that they want to move, they want to evolve, they want to change, they want to do something about their lives, and they are aware of whatever is holding them back. But at some level, there's also still that attachment to that backstory, because there's that fear once I leave my trauma, once I leave my story, I have to take full responsibility now. And that is a scary, scary journey. So many people, they know all of this. They know what it is like, they know their beliefs. They know that they shouldn't be pointing fingers or comparing, blaming. They know all that. All that is known. But yet, are they ready to say that, no, I know all of this, and yes, I am going to take full responsibility for my own growth. That's where the gap is. The information is there, but taking on that responsibility is the part that is missing. Being accountable for their actions. And just to add on, like what Uni said again, spot on, about how, like even our own children, for me, my growth started when I started being a bit more conscious of myself as a parent. I realized that how we were brought up was command and control. I tell you this, therefore I expect you to do this. I want, in another sense, you are trying to control your children. But the truth is, when I keep asking myself, do I really know what is the best or what is the right move forward? I don't really know. I only know up to the experience that I've had, up to where I've gone in my own journey. Beyond that, I don't know. So how can I expect somebody who's still in their journey to just say, yes, I agree with you and I want to do this? They have that journey as well, to realize that you can have all this information, but unless you are willing to take that full responsibility of changing from within you, it will never happen. So it's that step, that first step. I think that is the most crucial step. You can have all the information, you can attend everything, but are you willing to be accountable? That is the part that I feel is missing in a lot of people. And if I look back at my life as well, where I was before, I think I was just there as well, because I had the information. I know what I know now, but it just didn't resonate to me, within me, to the level it has resonated now, or is resonating with me right now. So sometimes I just wonder, we should use our energy. We can share, we can hope, but we cannot, I don't like using this word, but I will still use this word. We shouldn't waste our energy on trying to change someone till that comes from within them. So yeah, that's my sharing.
Beautifully put, Priya. We should not be wasting our energy. I guess even when we were growing up or when we were young, we didn't have the access to the amount of information that people have access to, almost so much that it is information overload. And people are now pretty comfortable with terms like limiting beliefs, narcissism, toxic environments, so on and so forth, without understanding what's actually underneath. Yvette, what has been your experience in general ever since you started your journey and became a coach? How do people respond to what you offer?
So actually, that's where I see that, in the Philippines, there's this cultural thing that they call ningas pogon. So it's a term used as one of the traits of the Filipino, where you start something and that's the end of it. You just start it. And a lot of people do that. They want to start something and then they stop. Why? Because if through my experience and even my own when I was younger, it's so hard. Yeah, it's so hard to persevere unless, as you all said a while ago, unless your desire to change is stronger than your desire to remain the same. So you really persevere and move forward. And so in my own journey and having meeting all these people and us sharing what we know and with all our passion and when we share what we know, it's because we experienced it in our own lives. How these things have also shaped our change and how these things that we know help us move forward despite having hurdles because it is not a perfect thing. And there are days that you are like, I just want to be lazy today, or I just want to be this today. But then you have to, I just want to embrace my ugliness, or I just want to embrace my negative attitude. But then, okay, but I have this dream and I want to reach that dream as well. And then again, there's this choice. Again, it's really the power of knowing that you have a choice and that knowing that when you try to learn, don't just learn, apply what you learn. And so there's so many things really, and we're blessed actually as coaches that people trust us. And I think that's one of the beautiful things that we can offer, that this trust is really sacred for us. And also, it's also personal experience that we trust ourselves because we know that we try our best. As Uni said a while ago, we're not perfect. We know, but we don't know everything. And we just trust that our intentions are always for the good of our clients or the people that we touch or the people that we exchange our thoughts with. And that's the beauty of every connection. And when you see this person that frustrates you because they keep coming back and asking you to help them, and then, you know what? I did that, but it didn't do any magic for me. I didn't change. I'm still in the same situation. And then you ask them, what is it that you want? Do you want instant gratification? Or do you want to work on yourself? Because working on yourself will not happen in a month. It happens in years. And I'm sure all of us here, even if we have worked on ourselves, we know that we are all work in progress. Yeah. So for me, that's my sharing, and I'm so excited because knowing what I know, it's like, okay, I'm so excited because this self-awareness makes me realize that sometimes I have to step back and watch myself from a bird's eye view and see, are you going where you want to go? And if not, what is stopping you? What are the hurdles that you're afraid of? Or sometimes it's even, what are the demons in yourself that that's letting you hold on to those limiting beliefs? It's really a work in progress. So thank you, Tina, for asking that.
Thank you. It is a work in progress. We've met these people again and again, the ones who know it all. And then when the situation strikes or the person strikes, the person they don't get along with or the situation they don't find pleasurable, they go back into like being pieces all over the place. And then they continue saying that we do know it. Knowing is one thing, applying is another. And I also find in my experience, there are a lot of psychologists and psychiatrists, not all, but there are a lot of them who've got a piece of paper, but ever since they graduated, they haven't done the work which it takes to become that person who can actually guide and help other people. So it's quite rare as well to find coaches, to find skilled helpers who are actually walking the talk. Like you said, we may not have graduated from the universities with a psychology degree or a degree in psychiatry, and the possibility of prescribing drugs, mind-altering substances to people, but we have had a continuous growth and development journey over years and years, and sessions and sessions, and a lot of continuous professional development. And we've done the work. We walk the talk to the best of our ability. And each day is a work in progress. It's learning for all of us. So it's quite funny when you look at the top psychiatrist or psychologist in a department who's having a tantrum or a meltdown just because their coffee was cold and things like that. So yes, it is a work in progress, like we all said. Tell me something else I'm curious about. How easy was it for all of you to let go of the past you, the limited you, the you which expected people to dance at your tune? Because that's the way we were brought up by parents who didn't know any better. Who would like to go into that? Uni?
Interesting question. Gosh, honestly, letting go that past trauma, or yeah, okay, I'm gonna say that past trauma because I've actually realized how much I have those mentioned and talking about working on ourselves is something that I thought I did finish. I'm completely done with the work about myself. No. I totally agree that we are as human beings in a continuous learning again and again and again. It's something. But here's what I did not know in the past, that I thought I'm done with life. So I know everything, you know what? Because of that, honestly, here's the thing, it was hard to let go that past trauma. And talking about responsibility, I did not know that this past trauma is something that I'm not giving to others so people can heal me. Yeah, I do apologize for people who doesn't like heal or anyway, but this is something that I was giving my past trauma to people so that people can help me, people can heal me, and people can take everything from us, my past trauma. It wasn't. It's about my responsibility. Am I allowing myself to let go this at this time, which is I realized it not long ago, 1.5 years ago. And the moment I've actually realized that, my goodness, how easy it was to let go that part. And I said, thank God, I know this is my responsibility and I'm happy and I want to explore myself more. And I want to know, and shut up, Uni, excuse me, my word, that yes, okay, stop, say anything, just do this work. Everything is going to be okay. And I just love myself more. Oh my God, it's like no matter what happened outside on my external life, it's not my concern anymore. Well, in a certain thing, you know, it's anyway, as a human being. So it's like I want to know myself deep inside. What is it I'm actually looking for? What is I'm going to do? What is actually deep down myself, so I can help, especially my own children. So I'm not giving my past trauma to her. So this is something that I'm not saying that I'm perfect, I'm better than anyone else. I'm just saying that this is something that I'm working on. And I love the word about working on myself, continuous personal development and continuous learning. And this is a process, long journey. I love that because the more I know myself, the more I realized how easy it was to let go the past, the more I'm curious about myself. It doesn't mean that I'm selfish, because this is the idea that how I'm going to help my children. And as a coach, um, I'm very happy if I also can help other people. Not I'm not saying that I'm smart, I'm a coach, so you can have me. No, just let's embrace and feel it, know ourselves better. Because years and years this is that I'm learning about this. And I'm trying still, I want to know more.
Thank you. Anybody else would like to respond to that? How easy has it been letting go?
So I can share about how difficult it is letting go of my past, especially that, I'm an only girl amongst 8 boys, and I'm the apple of the eye of my grandparents. So can you imagine the attention that I grew up with? Oh, this is my other Lola would call me her muñeca. It's a Spanish word for my doll. And my other Lola would call me, my grandmom would call me her treasure. And my granddad would call me his everything. So can you imagine what I heard my whole life? I'm the best. I'm this. And so I grew up, I didn't know that I was entitled. You know, I want this and I must have it. And if I don't, the world is bad. So that was how I grew up. And my dad, I was so spoiled that if I want to buy shoes, he would ask the department store to close shop for me. That's how that's how spoiled I was with my dad. So for me, the world was revolving around me. I tell the world what to do. That was when I was young. And then, life happens. And you realize, hey girl, that's not real. And it was hard letting go of that feeling of entitlement that the world owes you these things. That I didn't have to work for this. It's coming to me. But then you grow up and then you have your own family. And then you realize that why are things not happening my way? And it's so hard. It was really a 360-degree turn for me. And I struggled with that. And then knowing also that, you cannot only not have the world at your beck and call or the people in your beck and call, but that you have to work so hard. You have to clean your own house. You have to clean your own toilet. You have to do your own laundry. And all these things were really wake up calls. And for me, I think it was in that spirit of growth that I said to myself, when I will have this purpose that I am changing for, and the meaning that I will give my life to, everything came like really easy. And it's all because I have a family. I said to myself, this is my family. I'm going to raise it the best way I can. I have my children and I'm willing to change for them. And, and I'm so thankful and blessed that it turned out that all the sacrifice, well, I wouldn't even call it sacrifice, but all the change that I did helped me, even if it was a struggle, because it didn't come easily. It came to many, many years of daily struggle and changes. But at the end of the day, it was saying, I'm a better person with hardships and struggles than having everything there. And then you appreciate the people around you. You appreciate even the person in the marketplace who's selling everything to you, or the security guard, or the policeman, or the little people, the janitor. So it made me humble. And that humility was, I think, something that opened my heart and my being to growth. And it's really a wonderful experience. And because of that, I think I can share with different people more. And it's coming from a place of experience. And so I guess, as they said, life happens to you in different stages. And if you actually look back, they are the tapestry of the life that you can use so that you can inspire others or influence others, or even tell yourself that you're still growing. And you know what? Life is really um, joy, hardship, difficulty, and trials. But with when you give purpose and meaning to your life, you get over all these things.
Thank you for sharing that, Yvette. Beautifully said, especially the tapestry of life. We think sometimes we wasted so much time in a situation, in an experience, and then you look back and you realize it was never a waste. It was just the time that you required to mature. It was just that continuous being on that hamster wheel or that roller coaster that life was giving you, that you required to start making the decision and start maturing. And then you realize actually it would have been really easy to let go, but you weren't ready to do it. So you kept staying on the hamster wheel. And when you're on the hamster wheel, at a moment your head spins, katak, katak, katak. You don't know what's going on. You stick there until you decide to jump out. And jumping out seems pretty scary because you think you're going to hurt yourself. When you do, you realize it's pretty soft, the landing. It's not so bad at all. So it is difficult until you do it and then you realize it's actually easy. And then once you release one pattern, it's easy to start releasing the other patterns because now you already know the mechanics of it. This is what I've experienced. What do you say, Priya?
You just said whatever that was in my mind. It's like at one point I kept saying, oh, all these wasted years. I kept feeling like, oh, if only I knew better. But then now looking back, I definitely know I had to experience all that I had to experience to reach where I am now. And it's the same thing that is the same thing that I feel for people whom I see around me. Because at one point in my journey, I used to get a little impatient, to be very honest. I used to be really impatient with people who were like, oh, why can't you just see what you're doing to yourself? Or like, oh, why do you torture yourself like this? Then I said, hey, hang on for a moment. You were once there, playing the victim card and like feeling so sorry for yourself for all the so-called sacrifices and all those crap. Like, but now it's like when you realize you were not ready to let go, and that shift actually sometimes when I even ask back what actually happened to me, that moment where, if I could point at a moment where I can say that something shifted in me, I'm trying to figure out when that shift happened, but it was something that was so subtle, almost like I got up one day and decided, oh my God, it's time to grow up. Let go of your baggage. Let go of all the crap. Take full responsibility. Now, because as a parent, I think, I think you will really know it when you have children who really have a mind of their own. You can stand on your head and tell them, do this, do that, do the other. But if they don't want to do it, you can continue standing on your head. And that's when I realized, like, it's a shift that needs to happen from within to know that your sob stories are not making you feel good at all. it just drains you. But yet we want to hold on to it. Why? We want sympathy from people. But are people really, really sympathizing with us? Or they actually are tired of our stories, you know? And who is it that actually needs to care for you, yourself? And how do you care for yourself? By letting go those stories that don't serve you anymore and decide that, okay, what can I control? My thoughts, my behavior, my actions. That is it. Full stop. I can't even control that little child. I can't control my pet even. What am I trying to, you know? So why am I getting so upset over what that person did, what my child did, what my pet did, what the neighbor did, what is happening everywhere? There's absolutely no point because that's life. That's reality. It happens. We accept those are things that are beyond our control. But no matter what is going on outside, if there's one thing you can control, is what you choose to think, feel, and do at this moment. And that was a moment where I said, oh my God, why I took so long to realize this. But again, I remind myself, no, Priya, that was part of your journey. You had to go through all of that. And I believe the toughest situations that I experienced were actually an invitation for me to really go within, to really, use that as that moment to decide how I want to move. I can continue being a victim, playing the blame game and feeling sorry for myself, or I can take charge of myself and just feel so empowered and help those around me, those who are willing to do that work on themselves. Because it's hard work, as you said, Tina, you asked how difficult it is. Oh, it's really a lot of effort to keep going on this journey. In fact, even when you are going on your journey, no matter how much you know, no matter whatever, you still have that moments when you go back to your old habits and you need to remind yourself. So consistency is key every day. And a lot of people say that they do affirmations. But if we really think about it, we do affirmations, but at the back of our mind, there's a load of garbage thoughts that are going on, which is against whatever you're affirming. And then you say affirmations don't work. So it's like a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And, but it's worth it because at the end of the day, what do we want? We want that peace within, the inner peace. That's what matters. Because when you are peaceful and you're full of love, all you want to give is love. And whatever horrible things that's happening outside of you, it will kind of also taper down because how do you respond to love? You only get back love, That's how I look at it. You give love, you get back love. You squeeze a lemon, what comes out is lemon juice. You don't get grape juice. So similarly, if you have hate, you have anger or whatever, an outside situation just triggers you. But if you have cleansed yourself from within, anger doesn't come out. You just have compassion because you have done the journey. You know how it is that you have moved. So similarly, you see in somebody and you can only have a lot of empathy and compassion to that person, realizing that they are where they are in their journey. So you can't feel angry. There's no place for anger, actually. So yeah, that's my journey thus far. Thank you, Tina.
That's been awesome. I've watched you grow over the years, so it's been lovely watching this. Uni as well. Yvette, a little less, I guess, but it's been beautiful to watch. I'm also curious about has any of you managed to overcome your traumas of the childhood or the beliefs of the childhood, either with parents or with sibling rivalry? Because another thing that we are brought up with is also look at your brother, look at your sister, how good they are. And although we say that parents don't have favorites, I guess if we're really honest with ourselves, sometimes they do. And parents do have power games where they pit one child against another in order to get the kids to do what they want them to do without even realizing that actually they are being very, very harmful to the child's growth because a child doesn't have filters like an adult. So, has any of you experienced that in your life and have you overcome it? And if so, how?
I don't think I had that sibling rivalry going on because the age gap between me and my sisters are really big. It's a 11 and 9-year gap. I'm the youngest. But I think what I had was a lot of expectations. A lot of expectations. I was the first in my family to go to the university. I think I was always the good girl, the one who never gave much problem. And along the way, I think for the longest time, I just felt that I had to have it all together. Like, I have to, like, everything has to be handled by Priya in the best way. And, till I realized, hey, you are just a human being with limited capabilities. You have your own shortcomings, you have your bad days, you have your days where you just don't feel like you want to do something, and it's okay. And this happened actually when I was more, I think, when I started experiencing perimenopause and had very little energy. And I still used to struggle to want to do it all, so then I realized that, okay, yeah, in a way, it felt good that parents have expectations of you because they believe in you. But again, that was because perhaps the family situation where they did not want. What was instilled in me is that education is the cornerstone of a life of freedom, which now I look at it and I think like, no. But then, given our, upbringing and the time that, and what my parents went through, I can absolutely see where it came from. And I still do feel that the education played a significant role in the person I am, especially in the discipline of how I get things done and all of that. But life is such that too much expectations, when it comes to a point where it drains you, is really not worth it. And actually, perimenopause was when I realized I had enough of it. I had actually an incident prior to that, like a couple of years back, when I had a horrible 2-year allergy while I was doing my doctorate and taking care of the family. I didn't realize it was very much stress related. So that was actually my first wake-up call. I started realizing that, okay, there's something that's imbalanced. But then I didn't really make that change, to say that, okay, this is how much I can do. More than that, I should seek help. For some reason, I thought that asking help means that I'm not being thoughtful about the other people's circumstances. I don't know, some of these beliefs that you have, So yeah, so that was my first wake up call. And then when I struggled with that allergy, and it did not get better till I started switching the way I was thinking and handling things, and the allergy magically went away. I will say magically because a doctor wanted to cut my nose. And when that came to that point where he said that, I said, no, I'm going to handle this my way, you know. So that was the first wake up call. And then after that is when I became a lot more aware that I need to ask help when I can't do it. And yeah, so some beliefs from childhood. You see, I'm going to turn 50 next month. So you can see how strong certain beliefs are in us, which requires us to unlearn, and learn to be different. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. I think one conversation I would love to have with all of you is like you spoke about almost a magical healing from your allergy once you shifted stuff over here. And I think all of us have experienced something like that. So we'll keep that for another day. I'm sure people would love to hear about it, and I would love to hear about it because the older I grow, even I realize that we are in a system which makes us ill, and then it sells us the medicines, and then it sells us more medicines because the side effects make us more ill, and so on and so forth. Has anybody had an experience, any ways of overcoming? We've all been through the victim mindset. We've all played the blame game. We've all pointed fingers at everybody. And then we've had to have the realization that nobody is going to help us. Nobody's going to save us. If there's anything we want to shift in our lives, we have to do it ourselves. And sometimes it's been like the threat of cutting off your nose, which makes us sit up. Other times it's been a threat of really risking going down under with the weight that we are carrying, the useless weight. But we don't know how to get rid of it. We refuse to get rid of it because then what? Once we do put it aside, then what? So we've all of us have let go of our beliefs and old belief systems which did not serve us. We've let go of the people we used to be or we thought we were with the labels that we had, the roles we were playing. But still, how about anybody talk about shifting this deep-rooted belief which has really changed your life? Even, sometimes we are brought up to look at our lives and say, oh, she has a bigger house. That one has a better wardrobe or closet or a career. Or this one has the prettiest of things. We are actually brought up to notice these things, and then we kind of keeping up with the Joneses is a game we are taught to play. And the Joneses could be neighbors, could be relatives, could be siblings, could be people in our circle. So has anybody overcome this kind of game and realized that it's all actually quite futile? Go on ahead.
So I'll share because at a point in my life, I was really like because there's a shift in my life, and then I had that. Why is this happening to me? When there was so much difficulty, why is it happening to me? Why is this person bad, but good things happen? And so there's this comparison. It's as if I'm perfect, right? But I'm only saying that now because before at the time I was thinking, I'm so good, this person is so bad. But why is she having it all? And I'm having a difficult time and I don't like it. And there's the victim mindset. It's because of this person. It's because of this person. Everybody's fault, but not my fault. It's that. And how did I get out of that? It was difficult. It was years, years, honestly, years. And it took a lot of maturity to realize that, you know what, that situation of the other person is something you don't even know. Whereas your situation is something, and if I look back, it was really mm, my fault because I was lazy. And then I don't want to admit it. And then so I said, okay. And for me, it took really accepting my mistakes, accepting my, the ugly things in me before, because when you're growing, you think I'm the best and I'm this and I'm that, because that was condition that you can do anything. This is the condition. But going over that is also too much. It's bad because you think you're perfect. You think that you cannot go wrong. And so when you think that I'm good, I'm doing everything I can to be this good person, etc., and this person is bad, but she has everything materially, and I don't have anything materially. And that was also a struggle, that comparison trap. And then it lingered for a while, because even if at the point that I realized that, I'm changed and I'm more spiritual, but I cannot, to be honest, deep in me, there was still that comparison, like, I want that. And I'm envious of what the other person has. And it took so much from me to really admit that it is inside. And it was really like, it was like, I always call it the monster in me, to face that monster, and then to tame it and tell that monster that, you know what, it's not helping you be the person that you're saying you are. You're saying you're good, but if you open deep inside you, there's envy, there's jealousy, there are these things. And the only way for me to get over them was really to face them. and and it's like talking to them. It's like, why are you envious? Why are you jealous? And it was so hard to admit that, the responsibility is also in yourself. And that, how much work have you done on yourself? All you do is look around you. You forgot to look inside. I just, oh look, and then it's with me. And so I think again, it is being humble, and then accepting that there's something wrong with you. Because if you don't accept it, my monsters, my little monsters, and I have tamed them. And whenever they start to creep sometimes, in this day and time, I tell them, hush, hush, you don't need to do that. Because, if you look at the good things that you have in life and let it overpower whatever these little monsters are trying to tell you, then you overcome. And I think also part of that is the gratitude attitude. When you become so thankful every day that even if it's something difficult, that or something that didn't go your way, okay, maybe there is something else. And so I thank God that there was, the pause, or I didn't get it because maybe there is something else. And so I thank God that I'm able to see that now, and to accept it also. Because sometimes it's hard to accept that you don't get what you want. So that for me, it's gratitude and facing these little monsters. Yeah, but yeah.
Facing the monsters, inviting them to have a cup of tea with you, and then they kind of get happy about it and then they go away. And I guess sometimes the best prayers are the ones which are not answered. Not getting what you want is probably what you needed. That's what life gave you so that you could grow. Rather than having the material stuff, you could get the deeper insights, the deeper stuff that you required. That's beautiful. Anybody who has had gratitude as the keystone or the cornerstone of their growth? I know I have.
Yes. Yeah, it's definitely is.
Lovely.
I don't know about you, Tina. Yeah. But gratitude is really, really powerful for me, especially knowing and when you start believing in yourself, how actually the gratitude is so much powerful. Because in society, especially, I'm talking about a lot of people here, not all, but a lot of them, they don't believe with themselves. And this is why when they are working on the gratitude, it's not working. The same thing with what you just mentioned also about affirmation is not working, Priya, because they are not working on letting go about the past trauma. Why I'm saying this is because this is based on my own experience in my life, which I did, yeah. I thought I knew everything. We talk about I know because I've learned so much about there's so many resources out there, especially with this era, in this era, with a lot of social media and a lot of resources that I know the word of affirmation. The question is, do you know how to work on the affirmation? That is the question. It's not about, hey, do you know what is the meaning of affirmation? Yes, I know. I do affirmation every day, but it's not working. Right. The question is, do you know how to work on the affirmation? So this is what I'm actually working on. And I love that. I lost everything in my life in 5 areas in my life, spiritually, relationally, including financially, mentally, and everything. And in that moment, I've actually so grateful that universe gave me the experience on this spiritual awakening. And started from there, every time I say something, it's there. I'm not saying that, okay, God not giving you this. I do have this sometimes still, but I'm still continuously and consistently doing what I'm doing. I'm grateful no matter what. I'm not saying that I'm grateful because of good thing only. No. Even though I've faced something today in the street because somebody crossed me when I'm driving my bike, and I'm still grateful. Thank you. Maybe those person is reminding me to slow down when I'm driving the motorbike. And again, in that spiritual awakening, I am experiencing that how believing in self is so much powerful. What I'm saying this is because I did not believe in myself at the time. I know I was working a lot of resources. I know the concept, but I did not know how to work on that. I did not know on myself. I did not know about the believing in self. So every time I say something, I'm complaining. I'm comparing to others. Like, for example, let's talk about finance, money. Every time I spend on something and I said, I should not buy that one because my money now gone. I have no money to buy something else. Now, no matter what happened in my bank account, I'm always saying that, thank you, I'm spending this money and I am experiencing this food and I love it. Thank you so much. And the more I'm saying that, it's easier. I'm attracting something, including that, the money, including good thing. And I'm so glad with that. So I think the key here is accepting the willingness to letting go, and also the gratitude, of course. And first of all is, yes, the past trauma is there, is working on ourselves and believe in ourselves. So I think that is the key. So limiting beliefs will be always following us, but if we believe in ourselves, nobody can beat us. That's best on my experience anyway. Thank you.
Thank you all for sharing. It's been a beautiful conversation. I think the thing that really comes up is faith and trust in oneself. And another thing is that comes up, especially the last part, Uni, is investing in yourself. All the money, all the time, the resources that you have, if you invest them in yourself, it generates more. It comes back to you. I've learned this even regarding money. Whenever I'm going and buying something, I'm no longer spending money, which is gone. I'm investing my money in an experience, in food, in situations that I require. And of course, the best investment that we continue to do in our personal development is by doing the seminars and the courses, despite everything that we've done so far. Because that's an investment that is never ever going to let go of you, no matter what. Travel is an amazing investment. Experiences are amazing investments as compared to what the older generations used to do, which was like clothes and jewelry and houses and more clothes and more jewelry, stuff like that. Beautiful stuff, but at the end of it, it doesn't really enrich you, really, as compared to the investment that we make in ourselves. So here's to all of us continuing to make our investments. Here is to all the people listening to us to make investments in themselves, whether with us as coaches or with other places, wherever they are able to get what they require, so that they can offload all that heavy burden that they're carrying and become freer, because there is immense freedom in being very conscious of your choices and being aware, in removing the masks and being as authentic as possible, where you're totally in alignment with who you say you are, who you think you are, what you do, as you continue to go along your journey. Thanks again, everybody. I'm going to say bye-bye and invite
Thanks.
people to come and invest with us and invest in themselves. Bye-bye.